Now on Can I Media, I'd like to introduce you to somebody who's come a long way to come to this conference, Ralf Oppermann. You're from Australia.
That's correct, yes. Yeah.
Tell us about your company.
My company is actually involved in structural volume interpretation, so specialized basically in extracting faults from seismic data at very high resolution. I've spent about 10 years looking at different attributes and trying to filter out the ones that work well and the ones that don't work so well. And then obviously work with the ones that seem to work really well and actually give me good matches with well data. And that would be, image log faults. So basically faults and the fractures have been identified on image logs, and trying to match them with the seismic data. So trying to bring basically the seismic world and the well world together. And with the latest algorithms, you can actually do exactly that. You can actually extract information from seismic that most people think is maybe not possible. But we have an example here where you see you've got reflectivity data at the top there. You have a horizontal well. The operator here only really uses the seismic to land the well in the horizontal. This reflector is the Austin Chalk, and underneath sits the Eagle Ford Shale or the Eagle Ford Marl, which it rather is. With the right algorithm, you can actually extract information that looks like this. So you see very distinct features, which are very clearly defined in XYZ space, and this well actually intersects these features, and they are seismic discontinuities, and they may look a little fuzzy, a little strange, but when you actually zoom in and evaluate these, you find that they actually link up with faults that in this case have been identified from spectral gamma ray correlation, and they actually match up with hydrocarbon shows and productivity in the well. So what you get to see here is actually you get data that has been actually measured originally with when this seismic survey was acquired, and you can actually extract the information with clever algorithms that basically show you where you have small-scale spatial changes in phase frequency or amplitude content. And you can display them, and you can then go in your well and know exactly where you penetrated these and can relate this information to well data.
Well, that's the interesting thing, because like you mentioned, the picture down here looks a little bit fuzzy and seems like it's got a lot going on, but it's got so much more information than the one above it.
Yeah, no, that's right. And this is actually maybe a bad example, because this is actually there's a very prominent reflection, and you actually get pretty low. It's actually very low frequent, so it's very hard actually to extract information from this. And actually only one of the attributes that are used managed to resolve something. But so you have to try a number of attributes and try and find the ones that work, and I've done that for a long time. And I can't show you that now, but I've got a lot of well data that I've linked with the seismic extractions, so particularly drilling problems, fluid losses in wells, ball instability, so ball breakouts are usually linked actually with penetration of small-scale faults. And then on the production side, where it's really important, you can actually visualize fracture networks, and you can target them if that is where your production comes from. Or you can try and stay away from faults that have been known maybe to produce up water, to suck up water from the aquifer, and basically then impede your production. And you can actually go in, review existing wells, trying to maybe change the way that they've been completed, try and shut out the water, which a couple of my clients are doing using the data that I've produced for them. Or you can actually go in and target these. If you have a compartmentalized reservoir, you can actually drill through these faults. You can get basically access different compartments and drain them. Or you can do a couple things.
So it's just going to improve the efficiency then of well operators, obviously.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and basically optimize the location, the well spacing, and particular location of wells. And a lot of this has actually shown that you have a direct link between the orientation of the well and the location of the well and the location of these seismically visible faults. If you drill along a fault, you very often are in the fracture corridor, so you can actually get a lot of fracture, fracture count, very high fracture density. If you're drilling perpendicular to these seismic faults, you actually get a fracture zone that's maybe 5 to 10 meters wide. So it really depends how actually you locate your well and how that basically leads to increased access to fractured.
Ralf, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity. Cheers.
Thanks.